come on in if you'd like to. You're sure welcome to. Good morning, everybody. I want to apologize for my cold, hazardous duty, but I will try not to spread it to anybody here. And I want to start first by acknowledging the great work of the transition team. They've been doing a fabulous job, and it's a broad cross-section of people from across the state. Kenny Wilk has been chairing it. They have been putting in countless hours without pay, and it has been just a great group of people with expertise and new ideas and thoughts, and I think you're going to be really pleased to see what they come out with. So I'm just, Kenny and team, a lot of you are here. Thank you very, very much, and I want to acknowledge all that you've done. Dr. Collier and I want to thank you all for being here today. We're announcing today our economic growth team. This team is composed of our nominees to head the crucial state agencies that will help get our state back on the road to growth. I look forward to working with the Senate on confirming their posts as quickly as we can and begin the important work of improving the environment in our state to foster economic growth and private sector job creation. Now, during the campaign, Jeff and I pledged that our top priority would be to get this state growing again. We have nearly 100,000 Kansans who are unemployed. We need to get them back in the workplace. We laid out our roadmap for Kansas that highlighted how we would create a globally competitive business environment through streamlined regulations, controlled spending, and a pro-growth tax system. Our economic growth team will be the tip of the spear in designing the policies that will get us there. These policies will acknowledge the industries that have made Kansas what it is today. Industries such as aviation, agriculture, transportation, and energy, while pursuing development in high-growth industries such as biosciences, technology, animal health, and services. And of course, they will not forget that over 80% of Kansans are employed by small businesses that make our state tick. Our policies will be fair to all and focus on job creation and attracting investment to our state. Our economic growth team is heavy on experience and offers seasoned perspectives on the challenges that we face. They will bring to state government a blend of private and public sector experience that will produce results. You'll recognize a few of the faces, but a couple may be new to you. This team brings together eastern and western Kansas, private and public sector backgrounds, and all ranges of the political spectrum. All were born and raised in Kansas. And more importantly, all have a heart for Kansas. There is not a person standing up here who won't work night and day to see this state prosper. The Kansans are compassionate, responsive to the needs of their neighbors, but take responsibility for themselves. They understand the meaning of hard work and know how to weather tough times. This group is representative of the best aspects of the character of Kansas. On a personal note, I want to thank each of them for agreeing to serve in my cabinet. The next few years are not going to be easy. We face nearly a $500 million budget deficit. We're going to need to make some difficult choices. But I know those decisions will be well thought out and made together. And I thank them for their willingness to serve their state in this critical time. I'd now like to introduce each of them individually. Karen Brownlee, for Secretary of Labor. State Senator Karen Brownlee has spent her 14 years in the Kansas Senate focused on economic development as well as business and pro-family legislation. Her expertise on labor issues such as workers and unemployment compensation is well known. She has served almost a decade as a committee chair. She has been known to bring all sides together to create workable solutions. Karen, I'm delighted to have you on the team. Pat George, Secretary of Commerce. Pat is a true Kansas entrepreneur. State Representative Pat George has spent more than 25 years starting and building numerous successful business ventures in and around Kansas. His business experiences range from his family's automobile dealership to real estate developments to professional sports. Pat has represented the 119th House District and is chairman of the State of Kansas Committee on State Employee Pay Plans. and Vice Chair of the House Vision 2010 Committee. And one of the key things I really like about Pat, he's got a phrase, he says, get it done. He's a get-it-done kind of guy, and that's what we're going to need in that spot. Pat, delighted to have you on the team.
Thank you.
Nick Jordan for Secretary of Revenue. Former State Senator Nick Jordan brings an extensive list of business and public service experience to his role as Secretary of Revenue. Jordan became known as the go-to guy for economic development and tax legislation during his 13 years in the Kansas Senate. He played a significant role in writing and implementing key economic growth and tax policies, including co-authoring the Kansas Economic Growth Act that created the Kansas Biosciences Authority and the Kansas Center for Entrepreneurship. Nick, looking forward to having you in that job. Deb Miller, Secretary of Transportation. Originally appointed by former Governor Kathleen Sebelius in 2003, Secretary Deb Miller is the first woman to lead the Kansas Department of Transportation. During her 26 years in the field of transportation, Miller was closely involved in the state's comprehensive transportation programs of 1989, 1999, and 2010. Prior to her service as KDOT Secretary, Miller worked for HNTB and provided assistance to state departments of transportation and municipalities. Deb has done an outstanding job at transportation. I look forward to her continued service in that role. Deb, good to have you on board. Dale Rodman for Secretary of Agriculture. Dale has nearly 50 years of agribusiness experience that includes national and international agriculture business development and management experience. After graduating from Kansas State University in 1963 with a degree in feed milling, Rodman worked for Cargill Incorporated a total of 37 years in various management positions in Kansas, across the country, and around the world. Since his retirement, Rodman has stayed active in agriculture with the management of 2 farms in southeast Kansas and working as an agriculture business consultant. In all, he has lived and worked in more than 30 countries. He's an outstanding asset, and I'm delighted to have you on the team today. And finally, Stephen Anderson for Budget Director. Steve Anderson is a certified public accountant who has worked with numerous elected leaders and concerned Americans across the country to balance state and local budgets. He is a managing partner of Anderson, Reichert & Anderson, LLC, and worked previously as a budget analyst in the Oklahoma Office of State Finance. Steve is an outstanding guy who has a lot of broad-based experience on balancing budgets, from looking at them in many different states, and we're going to need his expertise in building the budget for the state of Kansas. Steve, good to have you on board. Now, before I open up for questions, I want to reiterate that I view our economic growth team as a team. Kansans would expect nothing less of their government officials. We won't achieve our goals without cooperation. And all of these things can't work if we don't get our budget under control. I look forward to being in the trenches during the next months and years with each of these folks as we focus on growing our economy and getting our people back to work. This is an outstanding team. We've spent a great deal of time recruiting and building this team, and I look forward to working with them. Thank you all for coming today, and let me see if we can